Can I just say how much I appreciate the fact that a show called I'm the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire is actually committing to the Evil Lord bit? Like, I already know there's gonna be people who will type on their keyboards, I don't know if I can watch this show, the dude seems a little bad for my liking. Listen, if we only gonna watch shows where the characters relate to our own morals, we're gonna have a very limited pool on shows to watch. I don't think the mainstream crowd was watching Game of Thrones because they related to a majority of the characters. They did some questionable things. But to be honest, given its like comedic, near parody direction of the first two episodes, and honestly, for most of episode 3, I was thinking to myself, I doubt he's really gonna feel evil. And I can already tell there's gonna be some people who say, oh, the dude was a scumbag, but still, he cut that man down in cold blood. He was an embezzler. Like, basically, the reason he killed this guy was because it personally hit him because he was screwed in his first life by someone passing all the blame and thievery onto their subordinate, and his life got ruined. So when he sees a man who did the same thing in this world and has no shame, he kills him. One slice, man. And did he have to do that? No. Did he want to do that? Yeah. And I like the idea that they're building in a character who's very clearly going to be worshipped by the masses in terms of the lower class citizens, the general people, but all the rich nobility in this world are going to despise him. They end this episode with basically like, there's this rundown bar. We saw, I think it was in the second episode. But basically they're like, oh yeah, I heard the new young lord cut down this noble guy. He was a scumbag. And then they talk about how like, yeah, I also heard that he raised the education, so when kids go to school, it was originally set at 3, now it's set at 6. And they're like, that's actually great, I'll have more time to save up for when they go to school. They might be cooking with this one. I'm not sure if they are cooking, or if they're just potentially cooking. Time will tell, but to be honest, I'm enjoying this one way more than I thought. But yeah, you know what? I appreciate that a guy's gonna cut down whoever stands in his way, and you know what? That scam artist Sensei, who was a complete phony, best boy. Can't convince me otherwise. Want to see my full thoughts on these episodes? Support my work. We do got the Patreon, full and cut live reactions over there exclusively. So sadly, we do have to wait like a month, 3 weeks. It's one of the two. Because basically, the way the streaming agreement worked, 3 episodes came out within the span of a week, but weekly in Japan, the TV release, like it's going to be a weekly experience. So yeah, we got a bit of a wait. I think the last time I can remember something like this happening, like I said in my last video, was Vinland Saga, except Vinland Saga got all 3 on the same day, if memory serves. Been a while. But yeah, like it's a weird one. But we're starting a new season, so like unless this show is like your #1 most anticipated, this is the only show you're watching, you're gonna go watch a dozen other shows this season, and you're probably gonna forget about the show even existing. For me personally, I actually like it enough that I'm actually anticipating episode 4. Will Brandon talk about episode 4 on the channel? It will depend on how this video does, and because there is a decent amount coming out on Saturdays, and some of them I feel like would do better on my channel, but time will tell. But in terms of an actual structure for a story, I'm digging it. I like that the guide, the evil demon that screwed his life, is attempting to anyway. I like that it's not just like extreme things. They start the episode off and he like ruins the girl's chopstick. Which, to be fair, think about it like this. Like, if you were in a restaurant, even if you weren't already having a bad day and you were trying to get your utensil in it probably would piss you off, let's be honest. I like that he's just a little troll. He just feeds on negativity, and whether that's I'm going to get, as we saw with Buddy's wife and her cheating partner there, loves to get him arrested and make them poor and grovel. Or in this case, choose the worst world possible. And this world really would be bad for most situations, you can really tell. But I like the fact that, for whatever reason, like obviously it's a mixture of, I got it wrong, I thought it was like a Japanese fox spirit, it's his like childhood dog or whatever. That's clearly probably the reason of why he's like protected, otherwise everything would just be shitting on him for 1,000 years because of how long humans live in this world. But either way, there's something fun about this, while also staying true to like, okay, I can still, to be able to blend near parody Isekai intergalactic warfare with brutality is actually kind of impressive. I'm not expecting every episode he's gonna go cut down people, but I can tell that anyone who does stand in his way, he will pop a cap in their ass. Like, I'm expecting at some point in these space battles, there's gonna be like a conversation between two pilots, and he's just gonna pull out the Glock and blast. He'd be like, okay, anyway. Like, I feel like we're building into that. I think the best part of the episode, though, was probably that sensei. So, I hadn't seen enough of this show when he approached that I was like, okay, this dude seems like he's either going to be the complete badass who's going to cut through all the logs without drawing his sword, or he's a scam artist. And I was more convinced he was a badass, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. So when the shoe dropped, I wasn't surprised, but I'm like, okay, going forward, I'm just going to doubt everything that is thrown this character's way. So he's trying to demonstrate how much he's a badass. And he does the classic, I unsheath and then close and then it all sliced. But we have a robot that's examining it. Even she's like, it doesn't look like he drew his sword. But the proof's in the pudding. They all sliced. And then you see the mask fall off. He's like, the trick is they're already kind of they're mostly pre-sliced to begin with. I'm like, okay. There's this really funny gag, though, where our boy keeps barging in. So, like, he drops the mask when he's, alone. So he's reading manga, eating chips. This is the easiest job ever. Sensei, here's this. Or, Master Sensei, I gotta tell you this. And he just keeps coming over and over, and you can just tell how frustrated he is, but he can tell it's like a good job because he's getting paid by this rich kid and has to do jack shit. We've already had 5 years worth of time skips, so we enter this episode with him leaving his cryostasis where he was getting all the information for 2 years. And then by the end of the episode, they do another 3-year time skip. So we're aging our boy up quite a bit, and I'm not sure if that's because I understand correctly, every time this show goes into a more widescreen format, that's like the futuristic present, and everything else is like, I guess, the past. So I'm not sure if we're trying to rush in to get to, like, not rush in like they're rushing through the source material, but rushing through the idea of his build up to the evil intergalactic lord. But in terms of pacing and structuring, I'm actually quite enjoying it. I wasn't sure what to expect leaving the first episode, and I was pleasantly surprised by the end of the second, and equally so leaving the third. I think for a lot of people, they will forget about this one just because of its weird release schedule, but, I'm excited for episode 4. I think visually it's both impressive and not impressive all in one. Like, a lot of times when I look at character models like Liam, I'm like, it's fine. But then I see these, like, epic space battles, and I'm like, why is this show's production so good on the CG? Like, what the hell? And now we also know we'll have, like, more mecha ground-based stuff. I don't know, like, it's got potential. If the worst that's going to happen is this show is just going to become an edge fest, meme fest, and to be honest, it kind of sounds fun too. Let me know your thoughts down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Extraman, Rogue Knight, Pranay Sumshwar, Darian Smith, Raj Vermullins, Diedrich Savan, Davlin, Sweet Ray 21, Furno 19, and we also have Pixcalibur. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Have a good one.